The Hamilton Southeastern Lady Royals are 5-0 on this very young season, but they are already the number one team in Class 4A in the state of Indiana, and they will face a tough test tonight as they return home from their first road trip as they face the Lady Bulldogs from Brownsburg. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online, and my name is Brian Scott. Tonight, the Bulldogs, again, with that perfect 5-0 record, take on the Brownsburg Bulldogs. Brownsburg with a record of 3-1. Their lone loss came against Ben Davis earlier this season. Should be a great matchup with a pair of Miss Indiana basketball candidates. Of course, Taya Reimer for Southeastern, and for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, Stephanie Mavunga. Mavunga just announced yesterday that she has elected to continue her basketball career as she has signed a letter of intent to play for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels next year. Of course, we already know Taya Reimer. She will be playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish next season. But this season, well, we've got a good basketball game for you tonight on Audio Sports Online. Hamilton Southeastern coming off their first road trip of the season. They played 2 games during the Thanksgiving Day holiday. A very, very tough matchup at Fishers, in which we saw the Fishers Tigers take the ball in the air out of the ball and pretty much hold Hamilton Southeastern to only 13 second-half points, all courtesy of Taya Reimer. But it was Southeastern that came away with the 1-point victory. The Royals would then go play Carmel on Saturday to wrap up the holiday weekend. And once again, they found themselves with a fight on their hands before finally coming away with a 63-55 victory, a game that was a lot closer than the score indicated, as Southeastern able to pull away in the final moments to get the 63-55 win. Against the Greyhounds, Taya Reimer led all scorers with 27 points. Taylor Graham with a very, very good game for Southeastern. She had 11 points. And also a good game from Lindsey Walton, 6 points, 7 assists. And the Royals come away with an unscathed record at 5-0. They will be taking on the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs. Head coach of the Bulldogs is Amy Brahman, 73-43 in her 6th year at Brownsburg. They are currently ranked number 19 in Class 4A. And for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, they could have a whole lot more sectional championships and maybe even some regional championships, if not for a little problem with having Ben Davis in your same sectional. We all know how good the Giants have been over the past few years, and it's been quite a few sectional championship games that have had Amy Brahman's Brownsburg Bulldogs face the Ben Davis Giants, with Brownsburg coming out on the losing side of many of those contests. But tonight, a big HCC matchup as the Southeastern Royals will take on the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs. Getting ready to have the starting lineups introduced for tonight's game, and while we've got a moment, let's go ahead and do that. First off, for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, starting at a guard is a 5'3 senior, Margaret Oles. Another guard is a 5'8 senior, Kaylee Comer. A third guard is a 5'9 senior, Lindsay Lowe. At forward is a 5'9 freshman, Aaliyah Walker. And at the other forward, a 6'4 senior, Stephanie Mavunga. On the court right now, we are going to have a very, very special presentation. The presentation being made right now at center court is Taya Reimer has become only the 4th player in Hamilton Southeastern Lady Royal basketball history to score 1,000 points. And she is being honored here in a pregame ceremony with head coach Chris Huppenthal, as they are giving Taya a very, very special basketball in honor of that 1,000 point that was scored during the Carmel game last Saturday. So congratulations go out to Taya Reimer. She gets a big hug from Chris Huppenthal, and that's before tonight's ball game here at Hamilton Southeastern. And before we give you the rest of the lineups, let's have our national anthem. Well, right now they are giving a special little introduction. Again, we gave you the Brownsburg starting lineup for the Lady Royals. Starting at a guard will be a 5'4 sophomore Taylor Graham. At the other guard is a 5'8 junior Lindsey Walton. At the third guard, a 5'8 senior Casey Hornbuckle. At forward, a 6'1 senior Jessica Pongonis. And at the other forward, a 6'3 senior Taya Reimer. And now we will have our national anthem. That's our national anthem. We're ready for basketball here at Hamilton Southeastern as the 19th ranked Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs have come to Hamilton Southeastern to take on the top ranked Lady Royals of Hamilton Southeastern. Once again, the head coach of the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs, in her sixth year is Amy Brahman, 73-43 record, and the head coach of the Lady Royals is Chris Hubbenthal, a 134-29 record in his 8th year at the helm of the Royals, and 309-67 in his 17th year overall. Brownsburg last played on Saturday, much the same way Hamilton Southeastern did. They defeated Lafayette Jefferson by the score of 52-30. And, of course, the Royals are coming off of a win at Carmel by the score of 63-55. Over the last 10 years, this has really been a one-sided matchup in favor of the Lady Royals. They are 9-1, and of course, in last year's perfect season, they won last year's game by a score of 20, and the final score of that game was 67-47. Royals are currently being introduced. Once again, let's set up the starting lineups tonight. For the Lady Bulldogs of Brownsburg, in the backcourt, it'll be Oles, Comer, and Lowe. And up front, it'll be Mavunga and Walker. And for the Lady Royals, in the backcourt, it will be Graham, Lindsey Walton, and Hornbuckle. And up front, Pongonis and Reimer. Hamilton Southeastern comes in averaging almost 52 points scored per game. Meanwhile, Hamilton Southeastern averages a little over 56 points a game. It's the Bulldogs of Brownsburg that average almost 52 points per contest. Of course, leading scorer so far this season for Southeastern, Taya Reimer, averaging 22 points per game. And for the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs, Stephanie Vavunga averages also just a little bit over 22 points per game. Our game's brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, a proud supporter of Hamilton Southeastern, family-owned and operated since 1955. Their business heritage in Fishers involves their care and our participation right in the community. It's more than John Deere lawn, farm, golf, and turf equipment. It's about being a part of who you represent, your community, your school, and most importantly, the people. Visit them in Fishers and see their free outdoor Christmas light display now through January 1st. Learn more at reynoldsfarmequipment.com. Taya Reimer set to jump center for the Southeastern Royals against Stephanie Mavunga. As I mentioned, a couple of Miss Indiana basketball candidates here this evening. And Reimer and Mavunga, of course, we've known for about a year now, Taya plans to take the next step in her college and in her basketball career at the University of Notre Dame. And Mavunga, just mentioned yesterday, she will continue her career with the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. The ball's up in the air, and it is controlled by Southeastern. They will have the first possession, and Jessica Pongonis wastes little time popping up a three from the right wing. It's no good, and the rebound's controlled by the Bulldogs. Margaret Oles with the basketball, looking over a Southeastern man-to-man defense. This is Taylor Graham tying up Kaylee Comer over in the corner. Possession error will favor Brownsburg. Taylor Graham had an excellent first quarter against Carmel, racking up 9 first-quarter points. But it was Lindsey Walton that Coach Uppenthal says was one of the more key factors of the game, offensively and defensively, also distributing the ball. They get the ball down low. Turnaround jumper is up by Mavunga. It's no good, but the Bulldogs get the rebound. Margaret Oles with the basketball. She will come left side. This is Kaylee Comer. Back to Oles. They feed Mavunga down the post, guarded by Reimer, and then she tries to drop it off into the hands of Aaliyah Walker, and Walker can't hold on to it, and we'll go the other way as the Royals have the basketball. No score, just underway, as Lindsey Walton with the basketball, looking over man-to-man defense. Pongonis is going to be guarded by Mavunga in the low post. They've got a mismatch on the far side with Reimer working against Walker. Lindsey Walton now with the basketball, and they will swing over to the far side. Hornbuckle working underneath now in the low post, guarded by Comer, and we'll have a whistle and a foul called against Brownsburg. Foul is going to go against Kaylee Comer. It's Kaylee Comer's first, team first, and Southeastern were inbound on the baseline in a scoreless first quarter. Pongonis popped a three for her first shot. She gives it to Reimer, gets around a Pongonis screen. And now they'll swing it around as a three from Lindsey Walton is no good. Reimer too far underneath, but Pongonis gets the rebound. She finds Lindsey. Lindsey back out to Taya. Taya working on Walker. Three ball on the way, off the flange, no good. Rebound cleared by Aaliyah Walker. Excuse me, that was Lindsay Lowe that had been working on Taya Reimer. And right now, here's a three ball by Mavunga, no good. Rebounded underneath by Walker into Mavunga. Mavunga tied up by Reimer, and the held ball will give the possession to Southeastern. 5:52 remains in this opening quarter of a scoreless game here from Hamilton Southeastern. The number 1 Lady Royals versus the number 19 Lady Bulldogs. Lindsey Walton will walk it into the front court for Hamilton Southeastern and go left side as they swing it around to Casey Hornbuckle. Hornbuckle guarded by Comer. Tries to get it to Reimer. Reimer tries to get it over to Graham, almost throws it away, but Lindsey Walton retrieves it before it goes into the backcourt, and she'll give it back to Taylor. Here's Pongonis from the free throw line, drives, and as she goes, she will lose the ball out of bounds, looking for the foul against the Bulldogs' Mavunga. The whistle didn't come, and the turnover gives the ball back to Brownsburg. Southeastern going to employ a little full court pressure. This is Aaliyah Walker that gets it into the front court for Brownsburg. She spins in the lane, partially blocked by Pongonis. She gets the loose ball, and now foul's going to be called against Southeastern. Foul's going to go against Jessica Pongonis. That's her first, team first, and Brownsburg will take it out from the baseline. Still scoreless with 5:19 left to go first quarter. And almost stolen as Taylor Graham knocks it out of bounds as the inbound came to Kaylee Comer. And we will keep it down in the Bulldog front court as they will maintain possession with Lindsay Lowe this time inbounding it for Brownsburg. And she gets it to Margaret Oles. Oles with the basketball right side to Lowe. Lowe picked up by Hornbuckle. Back to Oles. This is Mavunga from the right elbow. Drives. Here comes Reimer with a help, and shot's no good. Graham outlets to Lindsey Walton. Walton finds Hornbuckle, partially blocked by Walker, and the Brownsburg Bulldogs will come the other way. Walker with the basketball up top to Oles. 4:47 left in a scoreless first quarter. Oles dribbling as Lindsay comes to meet her as the ball goes to the low post, poked away by Taya Reimer. Tried to get to the ball to Mavunga in the low post, but Reimer saw the pass coming and anticipated and poked it away, and now Graham trying to feed Hornbuckle in the low blocks. Throws the ball a little too far outside, and it'll go out of bounds and give the ball back to Brownsburg. We've played a minute and a half in this basketball game, still no score, as Kaylee Comer will leave and Zan Roper will enter for Brownsburg. More pressure applied by Southeastern as Roper has the basketball. Left side to Mavunga. Mavunga picked up by Reimer. And now a steal by Lindsay Walton. Lindsay will have the ball poked away from behind by Aaliyah Walker, but we'll keep it down here in the Royals front court. 4:19 left to go first quarter. We are still looking for our first points in this basketball game as Hornbuckle will inbound to Lindsay. Lindsay Walton dribbles as Graham will go to her left. And they will try to feed Hornbuckle underneath. That pass telegraph stolen by Mavunga. Mavunga drives, goes in the lane, throws it off glass, no good. Roper there with a rebound. Her putback's no good. And the Royals get the loose ball. They will go the other way, but not before they are stopped, as head coach Chris Huppenthal is going to call a timeout, with a 30-second timeout with 3 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in this first quarter, and we are still scoreless. If you are here for the junior varsity game, that's pretty much how the JV game started, as we were scoreless until the final seconds of the first quarter when Brownsburg managed to get a basket. They led 2-0 after the end of the first quarter, and the JV Royals didn't score their first point until the opening minute of the second quarter, and we have now gone 2 minutes into this game without a score here. Out of the timeout, it will be the same 5 on the court for Coach Huppenthal as Lindsay Walton brings it into the front court. Left side to Graham as Hornbuckle has the basketball to Pongonis. Pongonis feeds Reimer underneath, puts the shot up. Can't get it to fall, but this time Taya Reimer is headed to the free throw line. Margaret Ollis will pick up her first, second team foul, and Taya Reimer, who is a 62% free throw shooter, is at the free throw line. First free throw is nothing but the bottom of the net, and that is our first point. A Taya Reimer free throw with 3:45 left to go. First quarter makes it 1-0 Southeastern. Second free throw on the way. She cans them both, and Royals have a 2-0 lead. 3:43 left to go in this first quarter. Quickly, Roper brings it in the front court, but backs it out as the double team help comes, and as she tries to get it into the hands of Olis, it's poked out of bounds. Chloe Reichert enters the lineup for Brownsburg. Aaliyah Walker will leave. Kaylee Comer also returns. She'll replace Margaret Olis. 2-0. Royals with the lead. Bulldogs with the basketball as they get it to Roper, who brings it into the front court. Hands the ball off to Reichert. Reichert, right side. This is Mavunga, guarded by Reimer. Back out, tries to find Roper. Almost tapped out and almost out of bounds. Tried for the save was Comer, but it does go out of bounds, and the ball will belong to Southeastern. Royals lead 2-0. Both teams looking for their first basket from the field, as neither team has been sharp here in this first quarter. Here's Pongonis, right elbow, gives it out. Lindsay Walton, 4-3, side of the rim, no good. Roper has the rebound for Brownsburg. She brings it up, drives the lane, and will have a blocking foul called underneath. I believe it's going to go against Taylor Graham, which would be her first. Taylor's first, team second, and the Bulldogs will take it out on the baseline as Lindsay Lowe will take it out. 2-0. Hamilton Southeastern, 3:01 left to go first quarter. They throw it and get the ball into Comer. Comer will give it to Roper. Again, man-to-man defense employed by Southeastern as Mavunga has the ball top of the key, guarded by Reimer. Driving left side, here's Comer, guarded closely by Taylor Graham, throws up a prayer. Shot's no good. Mavunga underneath. She puts the shot up, and Taya Reimer, who thought she got all ball, shows her dissatisfaction when the foul looks like it's going to go against Taya on the block. That will send Stephanie Mavunga to the free throw line where she misses the first of two. Mavunga on the season only a 53% free throw shooter, misses the first, and as a 53% free throw shooter would, hits the second. Aaliyah Walker returns. She will replace Lindsay Lowe for Amy Brahman's Lady Bulldogs as it's a 2-1 basketball game with 2:42 remaining in this first quarter. Our points solely coming from the free throw line so far. Pongonis looks for Reimer, poked away by Mavunga. Mavunga watched that one all the way. She'll drive, and then she will travel. Can't figure out if she was wanting to lay it off the right side to Roper or tried to put it on her hip, scooping it to the hoop. But either way, she's called for steps, and the ball goes back into the hands of Southeastern. Up a point, with 2:25 left to go first quarter. Hornbuckle with the basketball. She feeds Pongonis. They tried to feed down in the low post, almost stolen away. Reimer can't get it. Hornbuckle will tie it up as she gets down on the floor with Kaylee Comer, and the possession arrow favors Brownsburg. So sloppy basketball here in this first quarter from all sides. Both teams really trying to force it into the low post where their stars reside, and both having troubles doing so. They feed down low. This time Brownsburg does. They get it to Reigert, and she point blank misses the bunny. And Brownsburg's missed opportunity turns into a Taya Reimer bucket. That's the first bucket of the field, and it's a 4-1 Southeastern lead. Reimer with all 4 points. Now Taylor Graham on the court with Mavunga, and the held ball favors Hamilton Southeastern. Brittany Goggins will come in. She's going to replace Casey Hornbuckle. Maddie Taylor also coming in. She's going to replace Jessica Pongonis. 4-1, Southeastern with the lead and the basketball with 1:41 left to go in this opening quarter of play. As I mentioned, both teams really trying to get it into the low blocks, and both teams having a lot of difficulty in doing so. Here's Lindsay Walton, 4-3. That one's off the back flange, no good. Skying for it is Goggins and trying to swipe it away, and she is going to be called for the personal foul. First foul against Brittany, the 4th team foul against Southeastern, as Brownsburg will have the basketball trailing by 3 with 1:29 left to go first quarter. This is on Roper. Cross court into the hands of Chloe Reigert. Back to Roper. Roper in the front court. Here comes the double team. They get it to Comer, and Comer will get it to Reigert. Reigert feeds Mavunga, working on Taya. Gets Taya up in the air, but puts the shot up off the glass, and Stephanie Mavunga has the first points from the field for the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs, and all 3 of the Bulldogs' points. It's 4-3 Southeastern as we approach 1 minute left to go first quarter. Here's Reimer for 3 from the right wing. And Reimer answers it with a 3 ball to put the lead back to 4 for Southeastern. 50 seconds, and now we have a whistle stopping play. The foul is going to go against Maddie Taylor. That's her first. And the ball will belong to Brownsburg. And we will have a whistle. The shot falls as getting the ball inside to Aaliyah Walker. She gets the bucket, and she'll head to the line for the and one. Foul will go against Maddie Taylor. She quickly picks up 2 personal fouls. And Walker is at the line where she converts the three-point play. 7-6. Southeastern with the basketball and a 1-point lead with 42.5 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Goggins is pushed. No, they'll say that it was tapped out of bounds by Roper. Zahn Roper guarding Goggins. At first, the Bulldogs bench thought it went off of Goggins, but instead they said it went off of Roper. And Goggins will inbound from the sideline. Gets it to Lindsey Walton. 35 seconds remain, a 7-6 Southeastern lead. Lindsey with the basketball. Comes near side, lays it off to Graham. Graham to Goggins. Goggins loses it, and as Mavunga corrals the loose ball for Brownsburg. As Roper will pop a long-range 3. It's no good. Mavunga with a loose ball. Goes up, rejected by Reimer, and then they said it went off of Mavunga. So Southeastern will have the basketball in a 1-point lead with 10.3 seconds remaining in this first quarter as Jessica Pongonis will come in. She'll replace Maddie Taylor. Taylor came in, gave Jess a few moments of breather, but also quicked up 2 quick personal fouls. 9 seconds remain. 8 as Royals look to move the offense. Here's Pongonis with 2 seconds to Walton at the buzzer. No good. It goes off the side of the rim, and that's how we end our first quarter of play. A slow developing first quarter. Neither team really doing anything offensively. As we head to the second quarter, it's Hamilton Southeastern 7, Brownsburg 6. You are watching Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Hamilton Southeastern basketball is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, a proud supporter of Hamilton Southeastern. Family owned and operated since 1955, their business heritage in Fishers involves their care and participation right here in the community. It's more than John Deere lawn, farm, golf, and turf equipment. It's about being a part of who you represent, your community, your school, and most importantly, the people. Visit them in Fishers and see their free outdoor Christmas light display now through January 1st. Learn more at reynoldsfarmequipment.com. Brian Scott back with you from Hamilton Southeastern. Lady Royals, a 1-point lead over the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs, 7-6. Taya Reimer with all 7 points for Southeastern. As the Bulldogs will begin the second half with Margaret Oles, Hannah Mingus, Stephanie Mavunga, Aaliyah Walker, and Lindsay Lowe. And for your Royals, Taylor Graham, Lindsay Walton, Jessica Pongonis, Taya Reimer, and Brittany Goggins. Those are the 5 starters for Southeastern, as getting the basketball and trying to make a move was Aaliyah Walker, and she's going to be called for steps as she took a step before putting the basketball on the court. So that turnover gives the ball back to Southeastern. They lead by a point, just underway second quarter. Neither team shooting very well from the field, and both having problems trying to get the ball, work the ball into the low post. They get it to Pongonis, who thought she was pushed from behind by Mavunga, but the Bulldogs come away with a basketball. Here's a 3 ball by Lowe. Her shot no good. Loose ball fought for underneath, and we're going to have a foul called against Brownsburg. Foul will go against Hannah Mingus. It's her first. Team foul number 3 against Brownsburg. Southeastern has 16 fouls. Their next team foul will put the Lady Bulldogs on the line. As it is, Southeastern with a 7-6 lead, 7:27 left to go first half. Graham with a basketball. As gives to Walton. Walton saved it before it went into the backcourt. They try to get it Pongonis, but Goggins is able to save it. Here's Pongonis, turnaround jumper, free throw line is up and good. Jessica Pongonis hits her first bucket from the field, and it's now a 3-point Southeastern lead. Mingus dribbling the basketball. Tries to feed it down low, but it's stolen by Pongonis. Pongonis tries to leave it for Taya Reimer, but the pass is high. Goes off of Taya's fingertips out of bounds. And the turnover will give the ball back to Brownsburg. Southeastern once again showing some full court pressure. As they get it to Mingus. Mingus left side to Mavunga. Mavunga watches as the double team comes, goes right side to Walker. Walker goes down low, gives it to Mingus. Her shot no good, and the rebound is controlled by Pongonis, who gives it to Taylor Graham. Graham with the basketball. Royals with a 3-point lead, 6:35 left to go first half. Goggins tries to leave it to Pongonis, and once again the Royals turn it over and trying to make the entry pass into the low post. Substitutions as Lindsey Walton and Brittany Goggins leave. Megan Walton and Kaylee Huppenthal return to the lineup for Hamilton Southeastern. Kaylee Comer also back into the lineup for Brownsburg. Brownsburg trying to get it across into the front court. Comer finally does, but she's going to be fouled by Pongonis once the ball makes it into the front court. And that's going to send Brownsburg to the line, as that is the 7th team foul. So Kaylee Comer will head to the line to shoot free throws, a 50% free throw shooter on the season. Bulldogs as a team only a 47% free throw shooting team, as Comer misses the front end of a 1-and-1, and as Pongonis gets the rebound, she's going to be drugged down from behind, and I believe it's going to go against Stephanie Mavunga. That's Mavunga's first, team foul number 4 against Brownsburg. So we remain at 9-6 with 6:18 left to go in this second quarter. As Southeastern brings it into the front court. Huppenthal lays it off to Pongonis. She feeds Reimer. Reimer puts it up. She can't get it to drop. But the foul is going to be called, and it might be against Mavunga. That would be her second. It is against Mavunga. She picks up her second foul in just 15 seconds. 15 foul against the Brownsburg Bulldogs, and Taya Reimer is at the line to shoot a pair. Hits the first of 2. Maddie Taylor back in. Jessica Pongonis leaves. Mavunga will have to leave with 2 personals. Mackenzie Trout enters the lineup for Brownsburg, and Taya at the line for her second free throw. That one rattles in and out. Trout has the rebound, and she will get it to Roper, who brings it into the front court for Brownsburg. Working against Megan Walton, and now we're going to have a foul. No, they're going to say Roper put it on the sideline, as Pongonis has a very quick breather, and Taylor comes back in for Chris Uppenthal's Lady Royals. So the turnover gives the ball back to Southeastern. They lead by 4 with 5:58 left to go in this first half of play. Taylor Graham brings it into the front court, leaves to Megan Walton. Megan Walton finds Kaylee Huppenthal. Huppenthal partially blocked by Trout, but they say Trout got a bit of Kaylee's arm, and Kaylee's going to head to the line to shoot some free throws. Mackenzie Trout will pick up her first personal foul, and Kaylee Huppenthal has a pair of free throws coming. Her first free throw clangs off of the flange. Kaylee, a 50% free throw shooter, as again Pongonis leaves, Taylor comes in, as we see Coach Huppenthal, offense, defense, looking like he's going to play with Taylor and Pongonis. Kaylee misses both. Reimer gets the rebound. She goes up, but she is tied up by Aaliyah Walker, and the possession arrow favors Brownsburg. Now we've got the officials talking. I think one called a held ball, one's calling a foul. And let's see what happens after they discuss all this. Held ball in the possession arrow favors Southeastern. Pongonis will then come back in. Taylor will sit down. Or actually, it favors White. Brownsburg thinking for a moment that they had the basketball, but it does favor Southeastern. So Huppenthal will inbound from the baseline. 5:46 left to go first half, 10-6. Royals with the lead. Huppenthal finds Taylor Graham. Long-range 3 on its way. It's good. Taylor Graham hits a big 3, and it's a 7-point Southeastern lead with 5:36 left to go in this first half of play. Roper gives it to Comer. Comer gives it to Walker. Walker dribbles right side. Who puts up the shot. It's no good. Pongonis with a rebound. And she will bring it into the front court. Left side to Megan Walton. Pongonis gets the ball back. 3-ball rims out. And clearing it is Mackenzie Trout for Brownsburg. Lady Bulldogs trail by 7 with 5:08 left to go in this first half. Kaylee Comer with the basketball. She has been quiet. As Aaliyah Walker now has it for Brownsburg. Dribbling, driving in the lane, but will wave off the shot. And they're going to say a foul occurred before the shot. Southeastern will be hit with the personal. And it's going to send Roper to the line as Megan Walton is going to be hit with her first team foul, number 8. Leah Walker will leave, and Chloe Digert comes back in for Brownsburg. Zanae Roper is at the line, a 50% free throw shooter. And the front end of the 1-and-1, she hits the first free throw. She will have one more. Next, Brownsburg foul will put Southeastern on the line. Brownsburg with 16 fouls. Zanae's second free throw is good, and it's a 13-8 Southeastern lead. Under 5 minutes left to go in this first half. Megan Walton leaves it to Kaylee Huppenthal. Huppenthal looks, tries to feed Pongonis, but the pass was too low. It went through Jess's leg, and Brownsburg comes back the other way. Comer leaves it to Roper, and Roper hands it off to Lowe. Lowe in the lane, almost loses it. Instead, Trout picks it up. And as they tried to feed Comer again, ball slips through her hand, but it hits right into the hands of Lindsay Lowe, who finishes it off with the basket to cut the Southeastern lead to 3 with 4:19 left to go in this second quarter. Huppenthal with the basketball, feeds Taylor Graham. Graham, left side, Megan Walton, shot fake, nice move, pulls up and hits the 12-footer. Megan Walton, she's really been good with that shot fake as of late, getting the defender in the air and pulling it up for the easy jumpers. Trout drives baseline, her shot no good, poked away by Megan Walton, and Jessica Pongonis got the loose ball for Hamilton Southeastern, and then Coach Chris Huppenthal called a 30-second timeout with 3:52 left to go in this first half. Hamilton Southeastern leads by the score of 15-10. Our next game here on Audio Sports Online for Royals basketball will be this Friday as the boys welcome Mount Vernon to Hamilton Southeastern. JV game to start at 6 o'clock. Varsity game at 7:30. The girls will be back in action on Saturday. That'll be a matinee game as the Harrison Raiders come to Hamilton Southeastern to take on the Lady Royals. JV game will start at 1 o'clock. Varsity game at 2:30. And then that night, the boys will be in action. They will be at Pendleton Heights, with the JV game starting at 6 and the varsity game set at 7:30. And you can watch all that right here on Audio Sports Online. Out of the timeout, it'll be Megan Walton, Lindsay Walton, Taya Reimer, Taylor Graham, and Jessica Pongonis on the court for Hamilton Southeastern. Reimer finds Pongonis. She kicks it out to Megan Walton, tries to get the ball back, and trying to deny the entry pass was Mackenzie Trout. Instead, she's going to be called for the foul, and that'll be the 7th against Brownsburg. Trout, again, that's her second 17 foul, and Jessica Pongonis will be at the line for the 1-and-1. Jessica on the season, a 90% free throw shooter, and she gets the kind roll on the first free throw. And she will have one more free throw. A 16-10 Southeastern lead. And one more free throw for Pongonis. She cans them both. She now has 4 points. And she'll leave, and Maddie Taylor will return for Southeastern. For Brownsburg, currently out on the court, Lindsay Lowe, Kaylee Comer, Mackenzie Trout, Chloe Reichert. And bringing it up the court is Zine Roper. And the foul is going to go against Southeastern's Megan Walton. That's her second. 19 foul, and Roper is going to head back to the free throw line. Maddie Taylor out. Jessica Pongonis in. Mackenzie Trout goes out. And Aaliyah Walker comes in for Brownsburg as Zanny Roper misses the front end of the run at 1-and-1. Pongonis with a rebound. Gets it to Lindsay Walden. She finds Megan. Megan with the basketball. Cross court to Lindsay. Over to Pongonis. Back to Megan. Megan looking down to Hornbuckle, who was down in the low post, but sticks it out. Here's Pongonis. Free throw line. Looks for Reimer. Reimer loses it. And will go out of bounds off of Brownsburg. And we'll keep it down at the Royals' end of the court. As Southeastern with a 7-point lead with 3:16 left to go first half. Pongonis takes the inbound pass, gives it to Lindsay Walton, now to Taya Reimer. Reimer pops the three on its way, well short. It'll go out of bounds and go to Brownsburg. And it looked like Taya really was able to get her feet under her on that one as Pongonis leaves and Taylor comes back in. Meanwhile, Brownsburg still with Mavungo on the bench with 2 personal fouls as Brittany Goggins returns for Southeastern. She'll replace Megan Walton. 3:07 left to go first half, 17-10, Southeastern with the lead. As the ball is stolen away by Hornbuckle, she will take it, lay it off the glass. She won't get the roll, but underneath is Reimer. Reimer's putback is no good, but she's going to head back to the free throw line where she is a perfect 4 for 4, she is 3 of 4 tonight. Chloe Reiger was her first personal foul, the 18th foul, and we will have a timeout called by Amy Brauman of Brownsburg. It's a 30-second timeout with 2:55 left to go in this first half. And Brownsburg with a 17-10 lead. And we'll have Taya Reimer at the line shooting a pair. Royals 5-0 on the season, currently ranked number 1 in Class 4A. The Bulldogs from Brownsburg are 3-1. They are currently ranked number 19. Their lone loss against Ben Davis earlier this year. So Taya Reimer will head back to the free throw line where she is 3 of 4 tonight. And she will have 2 free throws. Taya with 8 points on the game. Her first free throw is up. It clangs off back iron. No good. She's missed her last 2. Margaret Olas returns for Brownsburg. She will take over for Zanny Roper. And meanwhile, Taya back at the line for 1 more free throw. She hit her first 3. She's missed her last 2. And now she's missed her last 3 as the rebound's controlled by Walker of Brownsburg. And they look to get it inbound, and a good play by Maddie Taylor pokes it away as they tried to make the entry pass to Chloe Dygert. 2:50 left to go first half, 17-10, Southeastern with the lead. Dygert low to inbound. They get it into the hands of Dygert. Dygert double teamed on the sideline, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it will stay at this end in the hands of Brownsburg. Once again, Lowe will inbound. Looking for somewhere to go with the basketball. She does get it in, but no favors. She gets Comer there on the corner, and Comer steps on the sideline, and you can't fault Kaylee Comer there. A bad place to take an inbound pass in the corner with 2 defenders draped all over you. But for the Royals, the turnover gives them the basketball and a 7-point lead. And Lindsay Walton has the ball tipped by Dygert into the hands of Comer. Comer gets it to Olas. Back to Reiger. Reiger down low. Ball blocked by Taya Reimer as Lindsay Lowe had nowhere to go, and now a foul is going to be called. As getting the basketball was Reimer, as she just simply took it away from Lindsay Lowe. And Lowe's going to be called for her first personal. The 19th foul called against the Brownsburg Bulldogs, and Taya Reimer is headed back to the free throw line. Maddie Taylor back in. She replaces Jessica Pongonis. And Taya, who hit her first 3 free throws, has now missed her last 3. She's back at the charity stripe. This is a 1-and-1. First free throw is up. It rolls around out, and tying it up underneath as Casey Hornbuckle grabbed the rebound, but she was tied up underneath by Brownsburg, and the possession arrow favors the Bulldogs. And Stephanie Mavunga, who had to leave early in this quarter with her second personal foul, with 2:24 left to go in the second quarter, she's back on the court. Mavunga has 3 points but 2 personal fouls, and she will get the ball left wing. And she finds all alone, is slipping in the back door, is Alea Walker. Walker with 5 points, and it's a 5-point Southeastern lead as we approach the 2-minute mark left to go in this second quarter. Hornbuckle with a basketball. Gives it to Goggins left side, finds Lindsey Walton. She finds Taya Reimer. Reimer underneath, wave off the basket, as they're going to call traveling on Taya. Turnover gives the ball back to the Lady Bulldogs. They trail by 5 with 1:52 left to go in this first half. And Olis will look to bring it into the front court for Brownsburg. Mavunga guarded by Reimer. Gives a ball screen. Now gets the ball back. And she swings it to Walker. Walker, as she tries to get it into the hands of Chloe Reichert. We're going to have a foul called, I believe, against Casey Hornbuckle. Her first team foul, number 10. So double bonus in effect, as heading to the line for Brownsburg will be Chloe Reichert. And she hits the first of 2. Reichert really making her first varsity experience in this game, as Taylor Graham returns, as does Jessica Pongonis, as Reichert hits both her free throws and makes it a 3-point game, 17-14, with 1:27 left to go first half. Here's Pongonis, leaves it to Reimer. Reimer, skip pass to Graham. Graham to Walton, finds Reimer in the lane. A little turnaround jumper, no good. And clearing it for Brownsburg was Reichert. Now the ball stolen by Walton, and as Walton makes a move, she was trying to get the ball in the hands of Taya Reimer, but she's going to be fouled first. And the foul will go. Zanny Roper will get her first personal 10th team foul, and Lindsey Walton will head to the free throw line. Lindsey, a 75% free throw shooter on the season, and hits the first of a pair. That's her first points of the game as Maddie Taylor comes in for Jessica Pongonis. And Trillia Faisal will come in for Casey Hornbuckle. So Trillia getting her first action here in a couple of games, with 1:07 left to go in this first half. Meanwhile, Lindsay's at the line with one more free throw, and that one rims out. And Walker has it for Brownsburg, gives it to Olis, over to Roper. Roper, guarded by Lindsey Walton, almost loses it, finds Mavunga. Mavunga, double team comes, turnaround jumper is well short, and Faisal will let it go out of bounds, and they say it went off of Faisal. Everybody was already walking to the other end of the court. Trillia not exactly sure what's going on, but the far side official said that she tipped it, and the ball will stay in the hands of Brownsburg. Mavunga to inbound. She gets it to Walker. Walker stolen by Lindsey Walton. As Walton makes a move, she's going to be fouled. So 49.8 seconds remain in this first half, and Lindsey Walton heads back to the charity stripe where she just hit 1 of 2. And it is the 10th team foul against Brownsburg, so double bonus in effect on both sides. Lindsey's first free throw rattles in and out. Lindsey Lowe back in for the Bulldogs as Coach Brahman gets Mavunga out with 2 personals. And Walton hits the second. The lead is up to 5 for Southeastern with 45 seconds remaining first half. Ollis with the basketball, right side, gets to Digert. Digert dribbles and will have a blocking foul call against Trillia Faisal. Being called tight both ways. As Trillia picks up her first and sends Digert back to the line. Back to the line. Digert hit her first 2 free throws for her only 2 points. She hits the first of 2 here. Pongonis back in, Taylor out for Southeastern, and Digert with 1 more free throw. She can cut the deficit to 3 if she makes it, and she does. It's 19-16 Southeastern. 38 seconds remain in this first half. Left side, Lindsey Walton to Taylor Graham. Graham looking for Pongonis. Pongonis saves it, but she bounced the ball on the baseline, and the turnover gives the ball back to Brownsburg. Taylor back in, Pongonis out for Southeastern. And Ollis bringing it into the front court for Brownsburg with 22 seconds remaining in this first half. This is Kaylee Comer. Double team comes, poked away. This is Lindsey Walton. She drives, and they'll wave off the shot as she is fouled from behind. And Lindsey once again heads to the charity stripe. Lindsey 2 of 4 so far from the free throw line, cans the first. For Brownsburg, Hannah Mingus comes in as Kaylee Comer will take a seat. Meanwhile, Lindsey with 1 more free throw. And she cans the second. She now has 4 points, all of them from the charity stripe. And she will take a seat as Casey Hornbuckle comes in for the final 14.8 seconds. Southeastern with a 5-point lead, 21-16. As Brownsburg gets the ball into Mingus' hands. Mingus to Digert. Digert's pass stolen by Reimer. Reimer goes the other way. Lays it up off the glass, gets the roll, and the drop. Then the shot drops. And that's the end of the first half of play. A disjointed first half of basketball, but they'll head to the locker rooms as Southeastern holds a 23-16 lead. We'll be back with some halftime stats in about 6 or 7 minutes. You're watching Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online.
What station are you? Audio Sports Online. You do a great job. Well, thank you. I'd rather listen to you than watch the game, to be honest. I appreciate that. It sounds a lot better coming from you than watching it. I appreciate that.
Halftime here at Hamilton Southeastern as the Lady Royals lead by 7 points over the Brownsburg Bulldogs by the score 23-16. Kind of a disjointed first half. Neither team shot the ball particularly well. Hamilton Southeastern led 7-6 after the first quarter and then was able to kind of get things a little bit in stride there in the second quarter, though mostly from the free throw line as they hit 7 free throws in that second quarter, but they also missed 8 free throws in that second quarter as well. Let's give you our stats through the first half. First off, for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, leading scorer with 5 points is Aaliyah Walker. 4 points for Chloe Diger, 2 points for Lindsay Lowe, and 2 points for Zanny Roper. Margaret Oles, Hannah Mingus, Kaylee Comer, Mackenzie Trout, and Stephanie Mavunga had 3 points for Brownsburg. For Hamilton Southeastern, leading all scorers with 10 points is Taya Reimer. 4 points each for Jessica Pongonis and Lindsay Walton. 3 points for Taylor Graham, 2 points for Megan Walton. Casey Hornbucker, Kaylee Huthenthal, Trillia Faisal, Maddie Taylor, and Brittany Goggins played. They did not score. It was a game that was, first half, rather closely called. Both teams ended up well into the double bonus midway through that second quarter. To begin quarter number 3, we'll have the same starters for Brownsburg. It will be Margaret Oles, Kaylee Comer, Stephanie Mavunga, Alika Walker, and Lindsay Lowe on the court. And for your Royals, it will be Taylor Graham, Lindsay Walton, Taya Reimer, Jessica Pongonis, and Casey Hornbuckle. Royals with the basketball to begin quarter number 3. They have a 7-point lead. Here's Graham. They look to feed Pongonis, right elbow. She'll kick it back out. Graham runs out, tried to feed it to Reimer. Ball loose on the court. Pongonis and Mavunga will tie it up. And the possession error will favor Brownsburg. One of the things we saw a lot in the first half, both teams trying to make the entry pass into the low blocks, and neither team doing it with any type of great success. A lot of sloppy passes and a lot of balls that the passes were simply telegraphed and were poked away or stolen. Here is Comer with the basketball. She feeds Walker. Walker working on Pongonis. Kicks it out. Stolen by Lindsay Walton. Lindsay with a basketball, but it's poked from behind by Walker. And Brownsburg steals it right back. Comer, long-range 3 on its way, and she banks it in. Kaylee Comer, who had been very, very quiet, hits her first bucket, a 3. And it's a 23-19 Southeastern lead, just underway here in the second half. Lindsay Walton gets it into the front court to Taylor Graham. Graham loses it, trying to get back to Walton. Here comes Brownsburg the other way, and Comer will finish off the fast break with the bucket. And she has a quick 5 points. And what at one point was a 7-point lead has been cut to 3 that quick. With 6:39 left to go, third quarter. It's 23-21 Southeastern. Lindsay Walton with the basketball. And she gives it to Pongonis. Turnaround jumper just inside the free throw line's no good. Rebound cleared by Mavunga of the Bulldogs. Right side to Walker. Walker to Mavunga, tapped away by Reimer, but Mavunga retrieves it. Now she'll put up the jumper from the right elbow. Shot no good. Graham has the rebound for Southeastern. Mavunga slips and falls. Taylor will take it all the way, but leave the layup short. Brownsburg quickly tries to get it back in the front court where Mavunga was waiting, but her teammates didn't see her, and now they'll set up the offense. Mavunga, bodied up by Reimer from the high blocks. Spins and tries to put it up off the glass, and a whistle will stop play as the foul's going to go against Southeastern's Taya Reimer. For Taya, that's her second personal, first team foul against Southeastern here in the second half, and Stephanie Mavunga is at the line where she is 1 of 2 this evening. Stephanie with 3 points, and all of them were in the first quarter. She hits the first of 2. She picked up her second personal early in the second quarter and was fairly much a non-factor for Brownsburg in that second quarter. She hits both free throws. She now has 5 points, and we are tied at 23. Lindsey Walton to Taya Reimer as Reimer gets it into the front court. She will dribble, leave it off for Hornbuckle. Hornbuckle to Lindsey Walton. Drives, poked away, though, by Walker. And as Brownsburg Kaylee Comer tries to lead the break, she's going to be called for double dribble. Megan Walton set to return for Southeastern. She's going to replace Lindsey Walton. And Megan will take the ball side out. Tied at 23, 5:33 left to go third quarter. Number 1 versus 19. As the ball gets in the hands of Hornbuckle. Hornbuckle trying to feed. Pongona stolen by Mavunga. Mavunga goes all the way, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Hornbuckle. Casey just shuffled that foot one too many. Had she stood her ground, they would have called the player control foul. Instead, Casey's going to be called for her second personal, and Aaliyah Walker is back at the line. Walker 1 for 1 at the free throw line. She has 5 points in the game, and she short arms the first free throw. Casey had position, but she backed up her back foot just a little bit, and that drew the blocking foul instead of the player control foul. Second free throw, no good. Taya Reimer has the rebound. She will put up the jumper just inside the three-point line. No good. Pongonos goes up, and it is blocked and stolen away by Mavunga. Brownsburg into the front court. We are tied at 23 as we approach the 5-minute mark left to go in quarter number 3. Kaylee Comer leaves it to Mavunga, top of the key, guarded by Reimer. Now she gives it off to Walker. Walker loses the basketball, and it's chased down by Jessica Pongonos. Pongonos to Graham. Graham to Reimer. And poked away and just stripped by Lindsay Lowe as she just pokes it out of Taya's hands. And Brownsburg comes back the other way, but Kaylee Comer is going to be called for traveling. Brownsburg had the opportunity, but the turnover gives the ball back to Southeastern. Hornbuckle will leave. Kaylee Uppenthal now into the lineup for Southeastern. We're tied at 23. Southeastern still looking for their first points of this second half. They led 23-16 at the half, and now another steal. As once again trying to make the entry pass. It's poked away, and Aaliyah Walker will finish it up with a layup, and Brownsburg is back out in front again, now 25-23. So a 7-point Southeastern lead at the half has been erased, and Brownsburg now up by 2. Here's Pongonos, right elbow to Megan Walton. Here's Reimer all alone for 3. That rims out. Mavunga has the rebound for Brownsburg. Walker almost has it stolen by Graham, but it is chased down by Lowe. Here's Comer, 3-ball left wing, off the front of the rim. Reimer with a rebound. Southeastern brings it the other way in transition. Reimer in the lane is going to be a foul called against Lindsay Lowe. As Reimer bullied through the lane, Lowe didn't set her feet. And actually, they're going to call the foul against Aaliyah Walker, not Lowe. Lowe's the one that went down. Walker's the one charged with a foul. Her first, team first for Brownsburg. They get the ball to Pongonos, who gives it to Megan Walton. Walton back to Pongonos. 3-ball on its way, well short. Underneath is Taylor Graham, and she has her shot rejected by Stephanie Mavunga. So we'll keep it down here in the Southeastern end with 3:36 left to go in the third quarter, and Southeastern trails 25-23. Aaliyah Walker will leave. Chloe Digert comes back in for Brownsburg. Megan Walton looks to inbounds. She throws it to Reimer. Reimer from the right elbow. Stops, pops, and hits. Reimer with 12 points. We're tied at 25 with 3:28 left to go in this third quarter. Comer feeds it down low. This is Lindsay Lowe, and her shot goes up and in. Lindsay Lowe now has 4 points, and Brownsburg regains the 2-point lead at 27-25. Reimer right side to Graham, and now a kick ball is going to be against Chloe Digert. As Lindsay Walton is returning, she will come in for Taylor Graham. So Lindsay and Megan Walton now both out on the court. And Lindsay Walton is going to bring it into the front court. This is Taya Reimer. They look over a Brownsburg zone, 1-2-2. Huppenthal with the basketball. Left side to Reimer, over to Megan Walton. 3-ball on the way is good. Good ball movement by Southeastern. Megan Walton hits the 3. She has 5, and Southeastern retakes the lead, 28-27. Mavungo works underneath, gets the bucket, and draws the foul. And she went strong up against Taya. Got the bucket, and she's going to draw Taya's third personal. Or excuse me, only her second. I had her for that what is her third, but they say second. Mavunga looks to complete the three-point play, which she is unable to do so. Royals come back the other way. Long-range three by Megan Walton, no good. Getting the rebound underneath is Kaylee Huppenthal, and she tries to put it back up and in. We'll have a whistle-stopping play, and a foul is going to be called against the Bulldogs. Chloe Digert will be called for her second personal foul, and Kaylee Huppenthal is going to head to the free throw line. Huppenthal hits the first of 2. And she will have one more. That's her first point in this game. We are tied now at 29. One more free throw. That hits front iron, no good. Mavunga with a rebound, and we remain tied at 29. 2:27 left to go in this third quarter. Olis, right side to Digert. Digert looks down low to low, and now Digert's going to be tripped. And we're going to have a personal foul called against Southeastern. Foul will go against Jessica Pongones. And they'll say that's Jessica's 4th. She's going to take a seat. That's the 4th team foul against Southeastern. So Pongones now sits with 4 personals. Maddie Taylor in. Maddie has a couple herself, and the Royals go to a 2-3 matchup, or go to a man-to-man, excuse me. And as Zanny Roper tries to take it in the lane, she'll be called for steps. 2:10 remains in this third quarter. We're tied at 29. Royals had a 7-point lead at the half, but have watched Brownsburg come back to take the lead on a couple of occasions. Here's Megan Walton, left alone for 3, doesn't elect to take it, gives it to Lindsay, back to Taya. Taya with the basketball to Megan. Megan, shot fake, gives it out. Here's Lindsay Walton inside the arc, and then Lindsay hits the basket. 6 points for Lindsay Walton. Southeastern back up by 2. And now traveling, and the turnover gives the ball once again back to Southeastern as Brownsburg. Back-to-back turnovers on successive possessions. Lindsay Lowe back in. She'll take over for Zanny Roper. For Southeastern, Lindsay and Megan Walton, Taya Reimer, Maddie Taylor, and Kaylee Huppenthal, your 5 Royals, currently out on the court with a 2-point lead. 1:37 left to go third quarter. This is Taya Reimer all alone for 3, and she nails it. Can't give Taya that much room. She will step up in rhythm and knock that shot down all day. As coming back the other way, shot partially changed by Maddie Taylor on low. They find Megan Walton under the knee, count it, and send her to the free throw line. In transition, the Royals get back quickly. The foul will go on Margaret Olis, her second, team foul number 3. Actually, that's her third. And Megan Walton has the chance to complete the 3-point play. Megan with 7 points and make it 7 still as that one rims out. 36-29 as the lead is back to 7, and that's going to cause Amy Brawman of the Brownsburg Bulldogs to call a timeout. She has watched her squad give up back-to-back turnovers that have led to Royals points. And it is going to be a full timeout. A minute 12 left to go, third quarter. Hamilton Southeastern leads Brownsburg by the score of 36-29. You are watching Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Our next game will be Friday when the boys take the court, as Coach Satterfield's club will take on Mount Vernon here at Hamilton Southeastern. The JV game will begin at 6 o'clock. Varsity game set to begin at 7:30. That's right here on audiosportsonline.com. We will have video of that game, as yours truly will be back with the call Friday night. Meanwhile, we have a minute 12 left to go in this third quarter, and Southeastern has watched their 7-point halftime lead disappear, watching Brownsburg take a brief lead, and now Southeastern has roared back to once again reclaim the 7-point advantage. Out of the timeout for Southeastern, Lindsay and Megan Walton, Maddie Taylor, Taya Reimer, and Kaylee Huppenthal remain on the court. Margaret Olis, Lindsay Lowe, Aaliyah Walker, Stephanie Mavunga, and Chloe Digert. And the ball's almost stolen by Walton, and getting the loose ball was Digert. Her shot no good, gets her own rebound, tries to get it out to Walker. Walker finally corrals it from just inside the free throw line. Shot no good. Digert with a rebound. She loses it, and Taya finally comes away with it. And we are going to have a held ball, and the possession arrow favors Southeastern. So Brownsburg with several chances, can't put it in the basket. Pongonis will return. She has 4 personal fouls. So we will see a lot of offense, defense like we saw in the first half with Taylor and Pongonis. And it'll be Reimer that'll bring it up the court for Southeastern. We've seen Taya run the guard. She goes in, finds Pongonis, and Pongonis lays it up and in. Well, I've watched some of the Southeastern practices, and they will run quite a bit of Taylor running the point. Here's Mavunga down low, throws it high off the glass. Shot's no good. It'll be tied up underneath Kaylee Huppenthal and Chloe Digert. And this time the possession arrow favors Brownsburg as Taya Reimer bent over. Might have taken a shot in the face. As Maddie Taylor comes back in, Jessica Pongonis will leave. For Brownsburg, Kaylee Comer back in. And she's going to replace Stephanie Mavunga, who is heading to the sideline rather gingerly. It will be Lindsay Lowe to inbound for Brownsburg. 21.2 seconds remain, third quarter, 38-29. And on the inbound, they're going to call Kaylee Huppenthal for the foul. For Kaylee, that's her first. It's the 15th foul against Southeastern. 20.2 seconds remain, third quarter, 38-29. Southeastern with their biggest lead of the contest. Digert will inbound to Olis, who will bring it in from the backcourt. Picked up by Megan Walton. She goes left side to Mackenzie Trout, now in for Mavunga. Right side, this is Kaylee Comer, guarded by Huppenthal. Kicks it out. 7 seconds left. From the free throw line, Olis' shot's no good, but there for the rebound and the putback is Lindsay Lowe. And that will be the end of the third quarter. Bulldogs get a fortunate bounce off the rim. Lowe was there. She puts it back up and in. And we head to the fourth quarter with the same deficit, with the same advantage that the Royals enjoyed at the end of the first half. Our score, Hamilton Southeastern 38, Brownsburg 31. Back with the fourth quarter right after this. You are watching Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Lady Royal basketball is brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, a proud supporter of Hamilton Southeastern. Family owned and operated since 1955, their business heritage in Fishers involves their care and participation right here in the community. It's more than John Deere lawn, farm, golf, and turf equipment. It's about being a part of who you represent, your community, your school, and most importantly, the people. Visit them in Fishers and visit their free outdoor Christmas light display now through January 1st. Learn more at reynoldsfarmequipment.com. Brian Scott back with you at Hamilton Southeastern. We enter the fourth quarter as the top-ranked Lady Royals take on the 19th-ranked Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs, and Hamilton Southeastern with a 38-31 lead after 3. On the court to begin the fourth quarter for Chris Huppenthal's team, Lindsay and Megan Walton, Maddie Taylor, Kaylee Huppenthal, and Taya Reimer. Here is Huppenthal with the basketball. We'll set the Brownsburg lineup in just a moment. Lindsay with the basketball, gives it to Huppenthal. Huppenthal feeds Reimer. Reimer, turnaround jumper in the lane is up and good. Reimer leads all scorers with 17 points, and the lead's back up to 9 for the Royals, 40-31. On the court right now as they try to feed the entry pass down to Lindsay Lowe, and now we are going to have a discussion as they'll say it belongs to Brownsburg. Stephanie Mavunga is now back in. It's Mavunga, Olis, Digert, Lowe, and inbounding the ball is Kaylee Comer for Brownsburg. And she gets it into the hands of Lindsay Lowe, who's going to lose it. She'll throw it off Lindsay Walton rather wisely as that entry pass came to her too close to the corner. She wisely threw it off of Lindsay Walton so Brownsburg could keep the possession. Lady Bulldogs trail by 9, just underway fourth quarter. Brian Scott with you from Hamilton Southeastern High School. And this is Comer with the basketball. She feeds Mavunga. Mavunga tied up by Taya Reimer. Reimer thought she had the strip. Instead, the officials say it's a held ball, and the possession arrow favors Brownsburg. Mavunga went up. Reimer was there. Reimer thought she had all ball and was taking it away cleanly. But the officials see it the other way, and they call held ball. So Comer this time will inbound for Brownsburg. She'll get it to Mavunga, guarded by Reimer. Teo with 3 personal fouls. And Reimer makes a move, drop that, leaves it off the glass, no good. Strips Maddie Taylor, and putting it back up and in for Brownsburg is Aaliyah Walker. Walker with 9 points, and the lead is back to 7 for Southeastern with under 7 minutes left to play in this fourth quarter. Megan Walton drives, and they will wave off the basket. As they say, the foul occurred on the floor. And the foul is going to go against Brownsburg. And will go against Brownsburg's Kaylee Comer. That's her second. Pongonis, the only player with any serious foul trouble. She has 4, and she's on the bench. On the inbound to Megan Walton. She gives it to Huppenthal. Huppenthal's shot no good, but Lindsay Walton has the rebound, and she gives it to Taya Reimer. Reimer makes a move, and she is going to be fouled by Lindsay Lowe. Foul by Lowe is her second, and it is the 5th team foul against Brownsburg. Both teams with 5 team fouls apiece. Pongonis back in with 4 personals as Megan Walton gets the basketball, gets around a Reimer ball screen, gives it to Lindsay. Lindsay drives from 12 feet out, shots off the back iron, no good. Reimer gets the rebound, and as she goes for the putback, she's going to be fouled underneath the basket. Aaliyah Walker gets her second personal foul, 6th team foul against Brownsburg, and Taya heads to the line to shoot for a pair. Taya is 3 for 4 from the line. She hit her first 3. She has missed her last 4, but she hits the first of 2 there. Maddie Taylor back in for Pongonis, and Kaylee Huppenthal leaves as Taylor Graham returns to the lineup for Chris Huppenthal. Taya with 1 more free throw. Second one is off the back iron, no good. Loose ball controlled by Mavunga of the Bulldogs. 8-point lead for Southeastern, 6:32 left to go fourth quarter. Here's Mavunga working on Reimer. Drives, had it stripped away by Walton. Drives up again, blocked by Reimer, and Maddie Taylor comes away with it for Southeastern. Here's the break, finds Taylor Graham. Graham goes up and gets the basket. Taylor Graham gets the bucket in transition, and the lead's up to 10 for Southeastern, 43-33. And making a move without putting the ball on the court was Chloe Digert, and she's called for traveling as Jessica Pongonis will come in, but not before head coach Amy Brawman of the Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs calls a 30-second timeout with 6:08 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the Royals with their biggest lead of the contest at 43-33. Our next Royals basketball game here on Audio Sports Online will be this Friday when Mount Vernon pays a trip to visit Hamilton Southeastern. JV game will be at 6 o'clock, and Brian Satterfield's boys team will take the varsity team will take the court at 7:30. That's the Royals in Mount Vernon this Friday on Audio Sports Online. Out of the timeout for Brownsburg, they will have Kaylee Comer, Aaliyah Walker, Stephanie Mavunga, Chloe Digert, and Lindsay Lowe. And for your Royals, it'll be Taya Reimer, Taylor Graham, Lindsay Walton, Megan Walton, and Jessica Pongonis. Royals with a 10-point lead and the basketball. 6:07 left to go fourth quarter. And some token pressure applied by Brownsburg. As Royals get it into the front court, this is Lindsay Walton to Pongonis, and silly foul there by Stephanie Mavunga on the reach in on the pass into Pongonis. For Mavunga, that's her third. And then more importantly, it's the 17th foul against Brownsburg. So Pongonis is heading to the line for the 1-and-1. Jess on the evening, 2 of 2 from the charity stripe. And she currently has 6 points. Her first free throw rolls out, and Walker has the rebound for Brownsburg. Bulldogs trail by 10 with 5:50 left to go in the fourth quarter. Low with nowhere to go. Good defense by Lindsay Walton, and as they tried to get the ball into Mavunga, tapped away by Pongonis, and we'll have a whistle underneath. And if that foul's against Taya Reimer, that'll be Taya's third. It is against Taya. That's her 13th foul, number 6. Maddie Taylor will come in. Pongonis leaves with her 4 personals. Brownsburg to take it out from the baseline as Lindsay Lowe looks to get it in. She gets it to Walker, but stolen by Maddie Taylor. But Maddie Taylor, in trying to get it to Lindsay Walton, it'll go out of bounds, and the ball will stay at this end in the possession of Brownsburg. 5:38 remains in this fourth quarter. A 10-point lead for Southeastern at 43-33. Kaylee Comer with the basketball. Feeds Mavunga from the left elbow. Mavunga drives, and we're going to have a traveling violation before the foul could be called. Pongonis back in. Taylor back to the bench. Zanny Roper back on as Mavunga will take a seat. 43-33. Southeastern with the basketball and a 10-point lead. Lindsay Walton takes the inbound pass and will bring it into the front court. Pongonis to Megan Walton. All alone for 3. Lines it up and nails it. Megan Walton hits her second three-point basket. She now has 10 points. And it's the biggest lead of the night for Southeastern at 13, 46-33. And a held ball as Taylor Graham ties up Kaylee Comer. And the possession arrow favors Southeastern. Substitutions as Mavunga will return, and Lindsay Lowe will leave for Amy Brahman's Bulldogs. As Lindsay Walton brings it into the front court, it's a 13-point lead with about 5 minutes remaining in this basketball game. Walton with a right-hand dribble. Switches off with Megan. Megan to Taylor Graham. Graham looking down low to Reimer. Mismatch underneath. The pass is too high. Reimer gets the basketball, leaves it to Pongonis. Left elbow. Shot off of the back flange. And Mavunga has the rebound for Brownsburg. Skip pass to Comer. Comer will back it out to Roper. Roper finds Walker. Left side, back over to Comer. Comer's 3-ball off the side of the rim. Pongonis goes high for it. It'll go out of bounds. And it belongs to the Royals. A 13-point Southeastern lead with 4:26 left to go fourth quarter. 17 fouls for Brownsburg have the Royals on the line, and the next Royal team foul will be their 7th, putting the Bulldogs on the line. Lindsay Walton with a basketball. looks for a ball screen, but instead gives it to Megan Walton. Megan Walton backs it up. As we approach the 4-minute mark left to go fourth quarter, Chris Huppenthal will call a timeout. Looking at his offense kind of stagnating out there, so he calls the timeout. And with 4:07 left to go fourth quarter, Hamilton Southeastern has a 46-33 lead. You're watching Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Four minutes and 7 seconds remain in this fourth quarter. Hamilton Southeastern with their biggest lead of the night at 13 points, 46-33. Brian Scott with you from Hamilton Southeastern. The top-ranked Lady Royals, the 19th-ranked Lady Bulldogs of Brownsburg hooking it up. Two of the Miss Indiana basketball candidates right here on the Southeastern court, as the Bulldogs' Stephanie Mavunga, who has just as of yesterday announced her intent to sign to play with the North Carolina Tar Heels, and of course Taya Reimer, who will be playing for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish next year. But right now it's Reimer and the Royals with the 13-point lead. 4 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter. Taylor Graham has the basketball right side. Megan Walton looking over again, a man-to-man defense for the Royals. Looking to give it to Pongonis in the low post, guarded by Mavunga. Skip pass to Lindsey Walton. Walton now gives it to Pongonis. Spins in the lane, puts it up, puts it in. Good move by Jessica Pongonis. She now has 8 points as the Bulldogs quickly get it into the front court. Jessica also working with 4 fouls. Entry pass made to Mavunga, stolen by Reimer briefly, but there's Aaliyah Walker to get the loose ball for Brownsburg. She puts it up and in. Aaliyah Walker now with 11 points for Brownsburg. The lead remains at 13. Graham, right side. This is Pongonis beyond the arc. Guarded by Mavunga. Skip pass to Lindsey Walton. Back to Graham. They're looking for Taya down in the low blocks as Royals move it out. Now we're going to have a reach in. And that foul is going to go against Kaylee Comer, her third. 18 foul against Brownsburg. Maddie Taylor comes in for Pongonis, and Megan Walton is at the line with a 1-on-1. Megan is 0 for 1 from the free throw line. She has 10 points. First free throw is up. That's no good. Walker has the rebound for Brownsburg, giving it to Olis. Brownsburg brings it into the front court, trailing by 13, under 3 minutes left to play. Walker works on Taylor, kicks it out to Comer. Comer thought about the three and double dribbled. Couldn't make up her mind if she wanted to take a step back three or keep moving to the left. Instead, she's called for the double dribble. Entering the lineup now for Brownsburg is Natalie Kroll. This is Kroll's first action, as on the inbound play, foul's going to be committed by Brownsburg. And it's going to go against Kaylee Comer, and that's her fourth. Or excuse me, that's her fifth. So Comer fouls out. And she had really been a player that Royals looked at to be a threat from beyond the arc, but she hit only 1 3-point basket. She scored 5 points, all of them early in the third quarter, which led to a bit of a Brownsburg run, but now she fouls out with only 5 points in this contest. She'll be replaced by Aaliyah Walker. So Maddie Taylor also back in for Jessica Pongonis, and Lindsey Walton at the free throw line for the 1-and-1, as that was the 9th team foul against Brownsburg. Lindsey with 6 points. Free throw is good. She has 7. (49-35). That's our score. 2:47 remains in this basketball game, and Lindsey with one more free throw. She hits them both. Biggest lead of the night for Southeastern. They lead 50-35. A 15-point lead. Here's Kroll for three. It's off the front rim, no good, but Walker is there to clean it up for Brownsburg. She has 6 points in this quarter. 13 points on the game as they get the ball to Maddie Taylor. Walker will commit the personal foul, and that'll be the 10th team foul against Brownsburg, sending Maddie Taylor to the line to shoot the double bonus. Aaliyah Walker will pick up her third personal as Taylor looks for her first point of the night. Maddie playing offense-defense hits the first of two. Maddie had been coming in and out with Jessica. We're using Pongonis on the offensive end and Maddie on the defensive end. So Maddie gets her first point, and it comes from the charity stripe. That's off the rim, off the back flange, but it drops in. She has her first 2 points. She gets a high five from Pongonis as Jessica returns. Pongonis now will play on defense with 4 personals, but Hamilton Southeastern has a 52-37 lead with 2:25 left to go in this fourth quarter. Olis right side to Walker. Walker tried to get back to Olis, missed it, but Kroll was there. They feed Mavunga. Mavunga right side to Lowe, wasn't expecting it. Now back down low to Walker. Walker's shot goes off the rim, no good. Lindsey Walton has the rebound for Southeastern. She gives it to Taya. And Taya is going to be fouled immediately by Mavunga. And for Mavunga, that's going to be foul number 4. For Mavunga, it's been a very, very slow night, to say the least, for Mavunga. She has 10 points, but she has been saddled with foul trouble throughout. As Taya Reimer's at the line to shoot a pair. First free throw rims out. Not one of the best free throw nights for Taya. As Lowe and Kroll leave, and coming in is Hannah Minguez and Chloe Digert. 2:03 remains in the fourth quarter. 52-37, Southeastern with the lead. Taya Reimer with one more free throw. She cans it. A 53-27 lead, under 2 minutes left to go. 19 points for Taya Reimer. Here's Aaliyah Walker with the basketball. Gives it to Digert. Back to Walker. They feed down low to Mavunga. Mavunga working on Reimer. Goes up and gets the bucket and draws the foul. Foul will go against Taya Reimer. That'll be her 4th. And for Mavunga, she has her first point of the fourth quarter. For Taya, had she not swiped at the basketball, she probably would have been okay and not drawn the foul, but she took a swipe at the basketball and draw the foul on Mavunga's arm. So a timeout called with 1:47 left to go fourth quarter. 53-39, Southeastern with the lead. A 14-point lead for the Royals, looking to move to 6-0 on the season and keep that number 1 ranking in Class 4A. Their next game will be at home on Saturday. Game you can watch right here on Audio Sports Online. It'll be a Saturday afternoon matinee. JV game will start at 1 o'clock. The varsity game at 7:30, at 2:30, before the boys travel to Pendleton Heights on Saturday, with the JV game at 6 and the varsity game at 7:30. All that action right here on Audio Sports Online. Stephanie Mavunga at the line. Mavunga with 9 points. She only had 3 points in the first half, all of it in the first quarter. She had 4 points in the third, and this was her first bucket in the fourth. So a very quiet night for Mavunga. As a good job by Taya Reimer on Mavunga all night long. Mavunga's free throw is good. She converts the three-point play, puts her in double figures with 10 points. It's a 13-point Royal lead with 1:45 left to go fourth quarter. Right side to Reimer, guarded by Walker. Taya, crossover dribble, gets it into the front court, goes right side. Taylor Graham thought about the three, gives it to Pongonis, back out to Reimer. Reimer drives the lane, goes left side, throws it high off the glass, no good. Pongonis is there, her shot's no good, and as Reimer goes back up, she's going to be fouled from behind by Hannah Minguez. for Minguez. That's her second. And Reimer's headed back to the free throw line. A minute 26 left, fourth quarter. Taya, the first to two, is good. Makes it a 14-point Southeastern advantage. And Taya can push it back to 15 with another free throw here. Second free throw is also good. 21 points for Reimer, a 15-point Southeastern lead, a minute 22 left, and Taylor Graham is going to pick up the personal foul against Chloe Dygert, much to the chagrin of the Royals coaching staff. And is the 8th team foul and Taylor's second. And Dygert's at the line for the 1-and-1. Natalie Kroll comes back in. She will replace Hannah Minguez. Dygert at the line. She is perfect tonight, 4 of 4. That's all 4 of her points. But the first one rims out the front end of the 1-and-1, and Reimer has the rebound to Lindsey Walton, who finds Pongonis in the front court. Back out to Lindsey Walton. A minute 10 left. A 15-point Southeastern lead. Graham with the basketball, and now we will have a foul called against Brownsburg. And that foul is going to go against Chloe Dygert, her third. And this time Taylor Graham heads to the line. This is Taylor's first trip to the free throw line. She has 5 points tonight. Free throw is up, hits front iron, and falls off to the left. Brittany Goggins comes in. She's going to take the place of Megan Walton. Walton gets a good hand. Kroll will leave for Brownsburg, be replaced by Hannah Minguez. Also now back in Lindsay Lowe for Brownsburg for Aaliyah Walker. Taylor Graham has one more free throw as Jessica Pongonis will take a seat. And Casey Hornbuckle returns for Southeastern. Out of all that, Graham's waiting for her second free throw, and that one's good. 6 points for Taylor Graham, a 16-point Southeastern lead as we approach 1 minute left to play. This is Mavunga working on Reimer. Drives right side, lays it up, count the basket, and draw the foul against Taya Reimer. And for Taya, that's number 5. So Reimer is done for the evening, and she heads to the bench with 21 points. And though she fouls out, she did an excellent job against Stephanie Mavunga all game long. As Coach Huppenthal is going to use the full minute here as she gets congratulations from the bench. Megan Walton will return to the lineup for Coach Huppenthal, and at the line is Stephanie Mavunga trying to convert the three-point play, which she does. Timeout called by Brownsburg with 56.8 seconds remaining in the basketball game. Southeastern up by 13, 56-43. For Mavunga, she now has 13 points in this contest, but again, a very silent night in retrospect, considering Taya leaves with 21 points and did a pretty good job defensively on Mavunga all night long. Pongonis, who has had 4 personals throughout much of this second half. Coach Huppenthal has been going quite a bit offense-defense with her and Maddie Taylor. Pongonis is still out there with 4 personal fouls. Jess with 8 points in this game. 10 points for Megan Walton. So 56.8 seconds remain in this fourth quarter. A 13-point Southeastern lead as the top-ranked Lady Royals look to close things out here against Brownsburg. Taylor Graham will take it out from the baseline against a Brownsburg full-court press. She'll get it into Pongonis. Pongonis back to Graham. Graham to Lindsay Walton. Walton looks, gets it in the front court to Jessica, and then now over to Taylor Graham. Back to Pongonis. Try to get it in Pongonis' hand. She is the best free throw shooter. Back to Taylor Graham. Under 40 seconds remain as the Royals look to play keep away. Lindsey Walton with the basketball to Taylor Graham. Graham to Pongonis. Under 30 seconds, and now we will have a foul that will send Pongonis to the line to shoot a pair. We'll go against Margaret Ollis. That's her fourth. And Pongonis is at the line to shoot two. Jess is 2 of 3 from the charity stripe in this contest and hits the first of 2. Kroll is back in for Ollis. Trout in. She will take over for Roper. 57-43, 28.5 seconds remain, and Pongonis with one more free throw. Second free throw is good. And it's a 58-43 Southeastern lead. Under 25 seconds remain. And trying to save it and heading and falling out of bounds was Hannah Minguez for the Bulldogs. And Southeastern will have the basketball. 22.2 seconds remain. Lindsey Walton gets it into the front court. Kicks it left side to Hornbuckle, over to Pongonis with 12 seconds remaining. Megan Walton, Taylor Graham. Back to Megan, 5 seconds remaining, and now looking to just wind down the clock, and the final seconds tick off, and that's the ball game. Hamilton Southeastern improves to 6-0 on the season. They defeat the 19th-ranked Brownsburg Bulldogs by the score of 58-43. We'll be back with some final stats after this. You're watching Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you at Hamilton Southeastern, where the Lady Royals have defeated the Brownsburg Bulldogs to move to 6-0 on the season, and they win this game by the score 58-43. This game didn't start out easy, and for a while there in the third quarter, looked like Brownsburg was going to be able to make a run, but Hamilton Southeastern persevered, and eventually they pushed this lead up by as many as 15 points before winning 58-43. Our final stats for the Bulldogs of Brownsburg: 13 points each from Stephanie Mavunga and Aaliyah Walker, 6 points by Lindsay Lowe, 5 points for Kaylee Comer, 2 points for Zany Roper, and Natalie Kroll, Margaret Ollis, Hannah Minguez, and Mackenzie Trout all played. They did not score. For the Lady Royals, before fouling out, Taya Reimer had 21 points, 10 points each from Jessica Pongonis and Megan Walton, 8 points by Lindsay Walton, 6 points by Taylor Graham, 4 points by Maddie Taylor, 2 points by Maddie Taylor, 1 point by Kaylee Huppenthal, and Casey Hornbuckle, Trillia Faisal, and Brittany Goggins all played. They did not score. Southeastern led by one led 7-6 after the end of the first quarter, led 23-16 at the half, led 38-31 after 3, and they finished this game winning by the score of 58-43. Hamilton Southeastern now moves to 6-0 on the season, while the Bulldogs from Brownsburg fall to 3-2. Our next broadcast of Royals basketball here on Audio Sports Online will be Friday night as the boys take to the court. They welcome Mount Vernon. JV game will begin at 6 o'clock. Varsity game at 7:30. All of that right here on Audio Sports Online. Once again, your final score: the Hamilton Southeastern Lady Royals maintain their perfect record, and the number 1 team in the state of Indiana knocks off the 19th-ranked Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs by the score 58-43. Until Friday night, this is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining me, and I'll see you Friday on Audio Sports Online. Good night, everybody.